Thank you, Stephen, and to all of our third round of lightning talk presentations. We will now pause for questions. Dr. Postakos?
Yeah, thanks again, all of you, for really interesting talks and applications. Um, so I think just in the chat, there was a comment about linking up with Dr. Garrett Hogenboom, and he is actually a keynote speaker for agriculture tomorrow. So those of you interested in agriculture, and also I just want to say that tomorrow we have a breakout session. And we have a special tool that we're using where everyone can input. It's called boards. It's basically a virtual whiteboard. So it's probably unlike a breakout session that you've done virtually before, but everyone can put in their comments individually and simultaneously. So we're really looking forward to that session. And Dr. Hogenboom's going to lead an agricultural session, and Dr. Crowley is going to lead a buildings session, and I will go ahead and spearhead our renewable energies. But I was really interested in these last talks, and I want to thank Eric Chubb for the use there in Sail Drone. Very interesting. You're making use of the ocean data, and I know the Ceres project will be very interested in how reliable those irradiance values are for your various applications and proposals. So I was really glad to see that result. I noticed a few weeks ago, or you emailed us about latency. So I was just curious if you had a latency requirement that perhaps we could certainly incorporate into our needs. We are working on improving latencies for some of the near real-time products. This summer, Ceres has had a delay because the Aqua satellite had an outage for 2 weeks. So the SYN 1 degree data has not been available, but it actually will be produced within a few weeks here and should be up on the Power website as soon as it's ready through June. So we should have hourly data through June here in a couple weeks. But we haven't had that because of the outage of the one satellite back in April. But Eric, I was just curious if you did have a latency requirement on that, and also Richmond. I enjoyed the technology that you're using there, very innovative. But I was curious if you knew that we actually provide an estimate of PAR, photosynthetically active radiation, because the Ceres has some spectral fluxes that we provide to you, the users. And so I would just be interested in hearing some comments on that. We also have a user with a hand up, Eric. So go ahead.
I can first answer your question if you'd like. So
go ahead. Yes, please.
Right now it seems like there's about a 6-month latency on irradiance data, hourly irradiance data. When we create new designs, put those designs on the water, and we want to start evaluating their ability to harvest power. And if we have a 6-month delay, then it prevents us from being able to do that. Something more like a week would be much more reasonable latency that we could deal with.
Okay, yeah, like I said, the Ceres formal product SYN 1 degree, which is the product that we feature, they stopped producing it because of an outage of the Aqua satellite, which is the afternoon orbiter. So that's why there's a delay. The 3 months will be processed and delivered soon, but we'll keep that in mind for the week delay on the hourly. That's a nice guidepost. And I don't know if you caught my general talk, but we do plan in the FlashFlux part of Ceres to be producing estimates of hourly, hopefully within a year. And so we are working toward that at this time because we need to transition as well from the Aqua and Terra satellites, which are being decommissioned and are right now drifting out of orbit. So thank you for that.
Sorry, can I ask
And
a clarifying question? What
so
is
I really appreciate those comments and working toward meeting those needs. And then Richmond, I did have a question for you regarding PAR data, and I didn't know if you were actually using the estimates of PAR that we provide, or whether you were taking the solar irradiance, broadband solar irradiance over the whole spectrum and using that. So I was just curious if you are using our PAR data. Oh, Eric, do you have your hand back up again, or is that?
I can. Let's see.
Go ahead, Eric. While we're waiting for Richmond.
Okay. My question was, what's the nominal latency that we should expect on hourly?
It's usually about 2 months, 2 to 3 months,
Okay.
right now.
Okay. And you said
The
that
flash flux data is providing just daily average data. But we are working on a system to utilize Geo. And once we do that, we'll be able to do closer to hourly on a global basis.
And with what latency?
And hopefully within a week.
Cool. Okay. And when do you expect that to come online?
Well, it's still probably about a year out.
Okay. Okay. I had another question for Steven, if he's available.
Yes, I'm available. Yes.
I'm interested to know what signals from the NASA database you're using in order to estimate watershed and runoff.
Okay, so when I'm estimating watershed and runoff, as you can see in that research paper, the data I take from there, I combine it with digital elevation models, which I obtained from US GEOS data. I believe I pronounced it correctly. Then with those sources, I use NumMike 11. I believe you know it. It's a runoff model which takes that data and generates a runoff for the basin. And yeah, that's how now I can be able to calculate runoff and determine that's how it works.
Do you get precipitation from NASA Power? I didn't realize that was available.
Yeah, so for power, I get precipitation. Precipitation, I calibrate it and use it directly. Then I take maximum and minimum temperature, which I use to calculate for evapotranspiration. And with those two sources, I can put them into the runoff model to be able to determine a runoff, because the runoff model will estimate how the ground performs, as in how water behaves once it hits the soil. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we allow we serve the precipitation estimates from the Mera 2 product and also the other reanalysis product, the near real time. So there are some estimates there. The Mera 2 product is actually corrected for rain gauges over land. Probably wouldn't help you there over ocean. I don't think the correction algorithm is over ocean. And we also feature the early look, I think, of the iMerge, GPM iMerge. One of the users that we had was using the later look that they have. We're providing to get a little lower latency, the daily average from the iMerge GPM. So we're right now had those two sources and looking to evaluate those and continue providing them or looking at other sources too.